Hi guys, so we know that Brexit has been bad for businesses, but it's affecting different companies in different ways. One sector deeply impacted by Brexit is the car industry, and in particular the after-sales aspect. So according to Car Magazine UK, delays and unexpected surcharges are causing havoc in the after-sales industry, with independent garages refusing to work on some vehicles and cars stuck in workshops across the country with problems that have kept them off the roads. In one extreme case, an engine ordered back in November 2020 has been stuck at the port in Felixstowe since the first week of January, with the rest of the van stuck in a busy garage in East Sussex. David Burford, who runs a specialist garage and classic vehicles registration service, told the magazine, and I quote, "Back in November, our customer ordered a brand new engine for his Volkswagen Type 2 camper. So we took the van into our workshop to get the old engine out in readiness for the new one arriving. It's still there, and the engine is at Felixstowe. The port don't know if they can release it or not, as there's a question mark over the duty payable and whether it's owed by the customer or the supplier. And the part arrived without the correct export paperwork, as despite being dispatched before the 31st of December, it arrived later." David went on to say that his customer is actually willing to pay the extra duty just to get the part to the garage so it can be installed. But he told the magazine that it's not as easy as that, and nobody at the port seems to know if it's just a case of paying this extra duty. At the same time, others in the sector have reported problems in not just getting parts from overseas, but having to pay more for those parts and in turn putting up their prices for repairs on certain vehicles. William Morgan, who's in charge of the Morgan Motor Engineers in Norfolk, was close to cancelling repairs on a Mercedes E-Class after his regular supplier refused to send parts for the car. He explained how his supplier in Poland was fantastic until a few months ago, always shipped him quality parts which were important for his customer. For him it was paramount to use high quality Mercedes parts rather than copies. The classic Mercedes had failed its checks in February, so he put in an order for new suspension parts. Before Brexit, the parts would have arrived in 48 hours and the car would be back on the road in a number of days. He received the shocking news that the supplier could no longer deal with him. They said due to the extra complex paperwork of shipping out of the European Union, it would be no longer economically viable for them to do so on a business-to-business basis. William got round the problem by ordering the parts as a private individual, but he said this wasn't something sustainable in the long term. Brexit has also meant that smaller operators are seeing an increase in parts prices as a result of suppliers based in the EU putting prices up because of the additional paperwork to prepare export documentation. In addition, there is also the need to pay VAT in the country of arrival. Now, not all operators are having difficulty getting parts, but the extra cost is a concern for them. This means that it can be difficult for those working in the UK trying to explain why regular maintenance has gone up in price since Brexit. Many in the industry breathed a sigh of relief when they heard the news that there would be no tariffs on goods coming into the country after Boris Johnson signed the trade deal with the European Union back in December. But businesses are finding out that costs are going up due to the extra layers of administration and the lack of clarity around VAT rules. Mike Hawes, who's the chief executive of the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, said the red tape required to move goods in and out of the UK was significant and a major challenge that would have benefited from a longer implementation period. He said, and I quote, "With the withdrawal agreement there was supposed to be up to 21 months for the implementation period, but we ended up with effectively 7 days over the Christmas shutdown from the publication of the deal to when it took effect. So it's understandable that businesses are struggling to understand what it is you now have to do." The UK government were not ready for Brexit, so it was pretty much impossible for most businesses to be ready for it too. However, the Brexit mantra was, of course, they need us more than we need them. And of course, there was the belief that the supplier in Europe would jump through hoops to keep trading with businesses in Britain. Brexiteers were wrong or misinformed. Now small operators and their customers are having to pick up the pieces. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?